I think within 2 or so, and then you guys had a 10-0 run and then started the third with a 12-0 burst. I mean, how key was that stretch, and what was working to get stops and also just take it aggressively to them offensively?
Yeah, I thought those last few minutes of the second quarter were really key just to give us some momentum and a lead at halftime. But, they scored, they get 58 in the first half. So what we talked about at halftime was trying to take control of the third quarter and find a stretch where we could get 5 or 6 stops in a row and open up a lead. And the guys did that right away, which was great. And I just thought everybody played well. The ball was moving beautifully. A lot of great individual performances, and it was a fun game to watch because took care of the ball. I mean, 43 assists and 7 turnovers. You don't see that very often.
Jonathan with 26 points, several emphatic dunks. When he's going to the rim with force and power like that and finishing like that, I think he has a franchise record for dunks in this season now in the play-by-play era. What does that do for you guys as a team? Yeah,
it gives us a different dimension, just those easy baskets, but it's the force that he played with tonight. I thought it was maybe the best game I've ever seen him play at both ends. He was playing with intensity defensively. He got deflections. He was guarding the ball. But the way he played downhill, sprinting the floor, he is so fast. He's electric. And he's really learning to use that more often and in key times, and I thought tonight he was just brilliant. And he mixed in, along with that, just several plays where he caught it and immediately swung it because he recognized we had the advantage. So it seems to me like the game is really making more sense to him now and slowing down a little bit. And it was really fun to watch Jonathan tonight. He was brilliant.
Steve, it seems like the intensity really picked up shortly after that little dust up, you want to call it, or whatever. Were you surprised to see that? Because sometimes that's what happens when you see players, when players get into it and the game changes a little bit. Were you surprised to see that at all? The intensity shift rise like that?
No. I mean, we have a history with this team, and it's always been very competitive. They have I talked about it before the game. They're just tough, physically tough. They never back down. So when we play them, there's usually, some kind of a dust up. I hated to see what happened because it looked like Taylor was really hurt. And I talked to him after the game briefly, and he said he was fine. So no harm done, but it was a kind of a scary moment. And I know it was inadvertent. Someone got pushed and fell into Taylor. Yeah, so, but the intensity like that against them is not unexpected because we've played a lot against them, and we know what kind of team they are and how tough they are and competitive, and so that's all part of it.
Hey, Steve, you've talked a lot about how you'll always have belief in this team's ability to win big games, I guess, until it's eliminated from the playoffs. Just how much does the way J.K. and Wiggs played simultaneously factor into that belief for you?
Yeah. I mean, and it goes back a couple of months now. It's you see a game like tonight. We've come so far just in terms of figuring out lineup combinations and those two guys individually playing well together. We didn't have that early in the season, but I think where we are right now, we're in a good place. We've got a lot of guys who are playing extremely well in their roles, and the combinations all make a lot of sense. Trace has added a dimension to our team with his finishing, which is really exciting. Clay has embraced this role off the bench and is playing his best basketball of the year. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. And obviously we've got to keep getting better, and we've got plenty to prove. But tonight was a good example of why I believe in this team, because we do have a lot of talent, and they're starting to really put it together.
Steve, over the last 5 games, I think Wiggs is shooting almost 60%. And tonight, he obviously had a big game. It didn't look like he was forcing anything. It looked like everything was nice and in the flow of the offense. What have you seen from him lately?
Well, this has been going on for a couple of months. Maybe not quite the level of shooting you're talking about over the last 5, but Wiggs has had a really good stretch here in the last couple of months after the slow start to the season, and he's such an important player for us. And tonight I thought we did a better job of getting him the ball in some situations, whereas there are games where he gets a little lost in the shuffle, and I've got to do a better job of putting him in positions where he can attack downhill. So I thought that happened tonight, and he did a great job of recognizing what the defense was doing. He made several really nice passes. He rebounded well. Just a great night from Wiggs.
Steve, in the beginning of the season, you and Kuminga obviously had your back and forths, and just you wanted him to just do the little things. That was one of your arguments. Now you're seeing games like this. What is it like for you to see him on the other side of that, where he's doing everything that you have asked of him, and what do you see from him going forward? It's
incredibly gratifying to see J.K. taking these steps. That's the whole point of coaching. We're, as a staff, we're trying to help all these guys become the best versions of themselves. And J.K. has worked so hard, and I think he's really had a breakthrough this year, and he's earned it. He's earned everything. I didn't hand anything to him, obviously, and there were times I probably should have played him, and I didn't. And so I think great teammate. His teammates love him. Just feels like he's starting to get very comfortable, just with his position on the team and place in the league, all of that. And we're going to keep coaching him hard because he can get a lot better. And you saw that tonight. I mean, when he plays with that kind of intensity and he sprints the floor that hard both ways, he's a force. And so couldn't be happier for him, but I'm going to keep coaching him hard. Thank you. By the way, Chris Paul's really good. I don't think I mentioned him. That guy, that was a clinic tonight. Thank you. Please ask about Chris Paul.
So he had about 9 assists, I think, the last time I checked. I don't know if he finished with 14.
Yeah.
14 assists. To be able to dish the ball out and get it to people in scoring position the way he did, not only tonight, but then it just seems like he's been able to do that the last few games.
Yeah.
How big is that for this team to facilitate in that way?
It's huge. We've never had this dynamic with our team where we can put Steph on the bench and have someone just completely control the game. To me, Chris has been in his best rhythm here the last couple weeks. He's shooting the ball great. He and Trace are running the pick and roll to perfection. What a luxury to have Chris playing, the backup point guard role, and then obviously playing with Steph at times too. There's a reason they call him the point guard.
As a follow-up to that question, you have Pods, who's just taken on the role of doing the little things. You have Kuminga, who's taken on the role of playing the way he's playing now. Not Steph, but Clay, who's accepted his role on the bench. What would you speak to when you say what the identity of this team is compared to this time last year, what the identity of the team was then?
Well, we're playing different combinations this year. I think we've found a starting group that we're comfortable with, and we've got a bench unit that's coming in and impacting the game every night. So I like where we are. I like our identity, but we've got to keep getting better. We know we have a lot to improve.